2 Chronicles chapter 18 verse 7 says, "So the king of Israel said to Jehoshaphat, There is still one man by whom we may inquire of the Lord, but I hate him because he never prophesies good concerning me, but always evil." As human beings, we tend to seek out information that supports our personal opinions. In fact, research shows that we are twice as likely to look for information that supports our position. When we are deeply committed to our own way of thinking, we avoid having that thinking challenged by opposing positions. And we can see that going on today. Now, such was the case in King Ahab's rule over Israel, when he and Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, discussed whether to go to war against Ramoth-Gilead. Ahab gathered 400 prophets, men he had appointed to that role himself, and would therefore tell him what he wanted to hear to help them decide. 2 Chronicles 18:5 says, "Then the king of Israel gathered the prophets together, 400 men, and said to them, Shall we go to battle against Ramoth-Gilead, or shall I refrain? They said, Go up, for God will give it into the king's hand." Jehoshaphat asked whether there was a prophet who had been chosen by God through whom they could inquire of the Lord. Ahab responded reluctantly because God's prophet Micaiah never prophesied anything good about him, but always bad, in verse 7. And indeed, Micaiah indicated that they would not be victorious. In fact, he said in verse 16, "Then he said, I saw all Israel scattered on the mountains like sheep that have no shepherd. And the Lord said, These have no master. Let each return to his house in peace." In reading this story, I see how we too tend to avoid wise advice if it isn't what we want to hear. In Ahab's case, the result of listening to his yes men, the 400 prophets, was disastrous. Verse 34 says, "The battle increased that day, and the king of Israel propped himself up in his chariot, facing the Syrians until evening, and about the time of sunset, he died." I sincerely hope that we all may be willing to seek and at least listen to the views or even opinions of others, even if they do not agree with our own. And I pray that we are willing to seek and listen to the voice of truth, God's words in the scriptures, even if it contradicts our personal preferences. Look, we need to ask the Lord to help us to seek and heed His counsel, even when it's against our desires or popular thought. Remember, God's counsel is always trustworthy and wise. And that's your spiritual vitamin for today.